Hi there, my name is Kurn, and this is my look at healing Grim Batol. Please note two things. The only healing add-on I'm using is Click. And this is also not a complete dungeon run. I didn't really record a whole lot. Some trash here, some trash there, and like 2 of the 4 boss fights. As I understand it, what I'm doing right here is something that you're not really supposed to be doing. The drakes that we're supposed to hop on and fly on and, incinerate these guys with are bugged, apparently. At least in this build, 12.857. You'll notice that my graphics seem bad even for me. That Light of Dawn is not a new graphic. That's just the result of a fix. You see, there's this bug right now where if you log in and go to an instance and you even hover over a single mob, you're probably going to freeze up in DC. So I used a fix, and as a result, some of my graphics look pretty funky. I want you guys to pay close attention to the fact that I'm using a lot of holy light. Like, disturbingly. I also want you to notice that we're CCing a lot. That was a Banish, courtesy of our Warlock. Bind Elemental from our Chamois was not actually working. And our Hunter also dropped a Freezing Arrow. Well, actually, it's now Trap Launcher Freezing Trap on another mob. Like that. So we've got a Banish, we've got actually that was a Hex back there, and we've got the Freezing Trap. The first couple pulls I'm doing here in regular speed, and I appreciate your patience. But I wanted other healers to get a really good idea of the rhythm of the damage and the healing. I really don't feel like I did a lot of healing. I kind of didn't really have to. The Death Knight, his Death Strike was hitting and therefore healing him for like 17k. He had like 100,000 health. He was level 85. Yeah, so I really feel like I wasn't doing a whole lot. Don't get me wrong, I did use Lay on Hands. I did use Hand of Sacrifice. I did use Bop here and there. Followed up quickly, of course, by Hand of Freedom. But this is kind of what it was like. And if this is the future of healing in Cataclysm, I might not actually have a whole lot to complain about. Alright. Double speed. So you can see here a slightly increased rate of damage, but that's really just because we're doing this double speed. You can see that I have plenty of time to keep using Holy Light, which hits for like 7k, and still manage to keep on top of damage. I am making good use of Holy Shock. You'll notice that it's almost always on cooldown. Oh god, I love that the Warlock Soulstone me. Look at that. Like, they're trapping, they're banishing, they're hexing, they're soulstoning. These people know what they're doing. I don't know if I just, happened into an awesome group of people, or if this instance is really undertuned, or if Death Knights are really just that broken. But, we didn't really have any issues. Unfortunately, I did not get the first boss fight in the video. So I'll talk a bit about it as we sort of clear up to him. He's a sort of a dragon guy, and he's got a bleed, which is currently bugged. It's actually ticking for somewhere in the realm of 15 or 20k per tick. It's not supposed to be that high. It's supposed to be around 5k. But no, it's 20k. The tank, of course, had 100,000 health. So, 15-20k buys us about 10 seconds of sort of fighting the guy, right? As long as it doesn't stack. We were sort of kiting him. So what I did was I kept an eye on the tank, and then I bopped him, and then hit him up with Hand of Freedom, which bought us a little more time. And he sacrificed his ghoul when he got low after the second bleed had begun. So that's how we got through that. He actually said that it was the first time he'd lived through it as a tank before, so I felt kind of good about that. As I recall, I really just did what I'm doing here. I did a lot of Holy Shocking, Word of Glory, Holy Light. Hasted Holy Light is not terrible. Honestly, if you get an infusion of light proc, I mean, that's a great time to cast Holy Light. The biggest issue for me was to remember to hit Holy Light and not Flash of Light to make use of Infusion of Light. God, we need some variety in the names of these spells, don't we? Alright, we're gonna move on from this guy. Healthstone on the bars. Good call. That's the second boss, the big tall dude. But first we'll do this bit of trash. I can't quite remember what these guys do. I think that there's a sort of a stun. I'm doing this in a regular speed too. I think that the casters have a bit of a stun, and then the Gron, obviously he's kind of large. He looks like he does a bit of damage. Our one wipe in the entire instance was when we had these guys combined with these trogs that sort of came out of nowhere. So they hexed the diamond, and we're going to take down the caster as he tries to live through the Gron. There are a few debuffs here. I didn't bother cleansing a whole lot. It's like I can't waste the GCD sometimes. I mean, it's not as fast-paced, but it's also not always worth the mana. Like, cleanse is costing like 4,000 mana or something ridiculous. So, I was trying to figure out what all of these debuffs were, and if it was just like an attack speed debuff, I didn't do anything about it. If it was something like, you are taking damage, then I tried to cleanse it. You'll notice that trash takes a long time. This is a lot longer than any of us are used to these days. Wrath has completely ruined us. Anyway, here we go. Forge Master Throngus. There's just a couple things to keep in mind. You see that? I didn't hit that. That's not Consecrate. I thought it was Consecrate, and I'm like, how did I fat finger Consecrate? I didn't. That's actually the visual cue, assuming you've got your graphics turned down pretty low, for sort of falling rocks that will hit you. That's basically what you have to watch out for. Healers should also watch out for what Throngus has already done. He pulled out his swords, and so he's gaining extra attacks every so often. About halfway through the fight, he puts away the swords, picks up his mace, like he did just now, and he gains Encumbered. Encumbered is a speed debuff. I think he's either 50 or 75% slowed right now, and that mace is going to deal, like, some serious damage. My biggest problem here was panicking over the chamois and the hunter, and myself, to an extent. None of us could seem to really get out of the falling rocks, which is ridiculous because it's just like in Vault of Archivon, and you even have something on the ground to like notify you that you're standing in something bad. Of course, it looks exactly like one of my core spells. So, anyway, that was Throngus. Tank and spank, not really that hard. Okay, back to double speed. This is some more trash. You'll notice that we're still banishing, trapping, I believe. Um, I'm not really sure if we're supposed to be doing this trash, or if this trash would be taken care of by the drakes that we're supposed to be using, but are bugged. Yeah, still more trash. I really do like the feel of this instance. It really feels sort of dwarven. I've been waiting for Grim Batol to come out since I first discovered that area in the wetlands, like 5 years ago. I used to try to kill the red dragons there, the elites, for red dragon skills. Good times. Alright, this is a boss. He's a caster boss. He summons elementals. This was actually a little challenging. Not really hard, but a little bit challenging. Because we were dealing with the ads, and then there was this part with the dragon. Okay, see, I thought that was funny. Throwback to Rad. I'm a sucker for that sort of thing, eh? If something refers to something that I've experienced in the game, I instantly love it. So, people are taking damage, like fire damage or what have you. At this point, I'm extremely reluctant to ever turn off concentration aura. I know that the chamois can drop a resist totem, but it doesn't look like they did. I'm still not really used to using things like Holy Radiance or even Light of Dawn, but I did use it on this fight, which is a good thing. Check it out, Hand of Sacrifice. Figure, well, I'm bubbled, why not, right? At this point, I'm seriously just impressed that I managed to keep things like Judgments of the Pure up while trying to get used to this whole holy life thing. So that was that boss. That's the third boss. This is trash down to the fourth boss, who looks a little bit like our old buddy General Vezax. Yeah, it's these dudes. Again, trash wasn't difficult or anything. The boss encounter wasn't that hard either. And I am sorry that I don't actually have the boss recorded. Anyways, I hope that this video gave you an idea of how healing is supposed to be in Cataclysm. Like I said, I'm not completely convinced that this is just how it's supposed to be at the higher levels. I really do think the tank was OP and broken and stuff. And I really don't feel like I'm capable of dealing a whole lot of healing within a protracted amount of time. So I'm a little nervous yet. But that run went extremely well. Couldn't have asked for it to go any better. Didn't lose anyone except for that one wipe I talked about. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. And I'll see you in Cataclysm.